Your yard, the green grass, trees, and plants that are an outdoor haven for your family. It may serve as a fort, a football field, or just a scenic backdrop for your barbecues.
No matter what you use your yard for, chances are you've already invested a lot of time and money to make it look good.
But whatever you use on your yard outside also comes inside. Think about it.
Your yard really is part of your home. The soil gets tracked in and becomes part of your environment.
Garden chemicals have a long shelf life indoors. The pesticides you used in your garden last summer can stay in your home until next summer. And they can have long-term health impacts for children and pets.
And it may not even be what you've added to your soils. Many of us live and garden in an area that was blanketed with lead and arsenic dust from a Tacoma smelter. This smelter closed down in 1986, but only after blowing smelter dust for more than 90 years over South Puget Sound.
So how do you reduce the risk of exposing your family to all these unhealthy toxins?
Don't worry, we're going to help you identify risky products, show you how to clean out your garage and garden shed, we all need to do that, and do it safely.
And your barbecue scenery will still impress the neighbors. We've got some dirt simple tips to keep your yard looking great without chemicals.
So for a healthy home, park your gardening shoes at the door
and step inside. We'll show you how to enjoy a healthy yard that's safe for your home and your family. The last thing kids outside worry about is what's on the ground. As you know, they really dig dirt. What are the health risks associated with the things we put in our backyards? And why are kids and pets especially at risk? We're here today at Seattle Tilth's Children's Garden to find out. What better person to ask than Dr. Gilbert from the University of Washington? Welcome.
Thank you, Greg. Kids are more vulnerable to many chemicals, pesticides included, and they're vulnerable for a number of reasons. First, they're small in size, so a small child gets a little bit of exposure, gets a big response. And toxicology is based on dose response. Small exposure, small response, bigger exposure, bigger response, but it's also dose. It has to do with body weight. So a small child is low body weight, has a bigger dose given the same exposure. For example, if an adult drinks a cup of coffee, it has about 1,000 or 100 milligrams of caffeine in it, has one response. When a child drinks the same amount, they're going to have a much bigger response. The same with pesticides. So children crawling around the carpet, they have different behaviors than adults do. So they have hand-to-mouth behavior. So a child crawling around the carpet gets that dust and dirt on their hands or on the toys. They put it in their mouths and they get exposed to that. Even small amounts of chemicals can really damage the developing nervous system and really rob the children of their potential to think, learn, and remember, and reduce their ability to compete in society.
I've had folks tell me, well, it doesn't seem to hurt my children.
You don't see the effects. It's like cancer, for example. You might smoke for 5 or 10 years, you don't get cancer until you're 20 or 30 years old later. We do have the data and the research does show that you are robbing that child of their potential, and we really don't want to do that. We want to give our children the best opportunity they can to grow and develop and really mature in an environment that is not conducive to exposure to these chemicals.
To find out more about the impact of household chemicals, you can visit Dr. Gilbert's website at toxipedia.org or visit our Yard Talk website at kingcounty.gov/yardtalk. So you know that dirt gets tracked in on shoes, paws, and feet. But did you know that pesticides and other contamination can remain in household dust for over a year? They just don't break down like they do outdoors. Now, I'm not really known for my expertise on chores around the house, if you know what I mean. But there are some pretty easy things you can do to help reduce your family's exposure to chemicals both inside and out. Avoid tracking chemicals into your home by taking off your shoes at the door. Damp mop your floors often to reduce the dust. When you come in from the yard, wash everything off thoroughly. Your hands, toys, pacifiers, and any fruits or vegetables you've grown. In your yard, wear gloves and protective items while gardening, and remove them before coming inside. Bare dirt means more dust, so use wood mulch or plants to cover soil. And don't forget your pets. Place mats down near entry points and when possible, try to wipe off their paws. But really, not using chemicals in your yard in the first place is the best prevention. Then you can avoid all this extra work. Now that's the best tip I could give anyone. Less housework.
So now that we know how to avoid bringing the outside in, let's take a look inside to see what we might already have here. We're in a typical garage here with Lisa Niehaus of King County's Hazardous Waste Management Program. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Doug.
Well, Lisa, talk to us about what we might find in our own homes.
Well, this is pretty typical. People keep extra food in their garage. They keep pesticides, the paint from the living room, automotive products, and a lot of them can be hazardous. A lot of times you're storing things that are toxic. Some of them are corrosive. Some of them can be flammable, and you need to be very careful about how you store those products so that you and your family can stay safe. They put a lot of information on the labels. So you have to be careful, pay attention, and take time to read the whole label. There's a lot of times very small print on the labels, and so it's important to be careful with that. Look, first of all, for the danger, warning, and caution labels. Those are going to give you a lot of information about how dangerous the product is. And, you know, the danger is the worst, warning is the second, and then caution you can use carefully but a little more freely. One of the things I wanted to show you out here is we've got two different kinds of lawn fertilizer. And this one is lawn fertilizer, but it's got pesticides in it too. It's got a weed killer in it, so you have to be careful about paying attention when you purchase products. This one is an organic fertilizer.
A lot better.
It's a lot better. And most of the time you're not going to need the pesticide, the herbicide that's in that weed and feed anyway. Slug bait is a big one around here. Yeah. There's a couple of kinds of slug bait. The good old-fashioned kind is metaldehyde, and take a look at the label. There's a caution label on that, so you need to be a little bit careful. It's very dangerous to dogs and pets, so if you've got that kind of animal in your household, you need to think about other alternatives.
But there are some good slug baits out there.
There are some good alternatives. One that's here is just a simple copper barrier. Slugs are really repelled by copper barriers. Put that around your favorite plants. And there's a newer product on the market. It's iron phosphate, and it's much less hazardous to pets, to people, and it's much safer around children. We all have a lot of stuff that we probably don't need in our garage and our basement. What you want to do is give a call to the hazardous waste disposal facility, let them know that you're coming, what you've got, and they'll give you some more details. And then pack your stuff up safely and put it in a rubber container or a plastic bag in a box. Make sure that it stays upright and that you've got all the lids closed, because you don't want it spilling in the back seat of your car.
Thanks, Lisa. Now that we know how to pack it up, it's not so hard really to get rid of. Here's some more ideas for you.
Okay, you've gone through your house and properly disposed of garden chemicals that could pose a threat. But hey, you still want your yard to look good. Use natural techniques. They really work. Reduce or eliminate pesticides and fertilizers by encouraging thriving soil, plants, and good bugs. The natural yard care approach, my favorite. By building healthy soil, you can prevent disease, weeds, and insect problems. Use plants to invite good bugs that eat other pests or pollinate your flowers. And avoid weed and feed products that can cause more problems than they solve. What about crane flies? Crane flies are those big, gangly looking insects that resemble monster mosquitoes and are sometimes called mosquito eaters. But they don't eat mosquitoes.
We don't.
You see them bumbling around your yard in the fall, and many folks blame them for discolored spots in lawns. But the reality is, in the Puget Sound area, crane fly problems are nearly non-existent. Still, homeowners often assume they have a problem when they see these insects and their lawns look poor. And unfortunately, they often respond by dumping costly pesticides on their lawn. This kills the good bugs along with the bad. Besides, crane flies are an easy meal for neighborhood birds.
So So you see that even though your yard is outside, it can have a tremendous impact on the inside of your home and the health of you and your family.
Avoid tracking dust in, read the warning labels on products, and pack up those unwanted hazardous items. You can take them to a waste mobile to dispose of them safely.
If you want a great looking, healthy yard, natural gardening techniques really do work.
And when you look at what we know about how this impacts the environment and our kids, natural yard care becomes a pretty easy choice.
Visit our website to learn more about easy ways to protect your family and have a chemical-free yard.
So have a healthy yard.
And a healthy family and planet too.